Hello and welcome to a new pick a card reading. In today's reading, we are asking the question, why are you single? And what's next? When I told a friend that this was my plan for my next pick a card reading, they said, how very scorpionic of you to go straight for the jugular. So I would just want to assure you straight out, I not until then did I realize, oh, that does sound kind of brutal, huh? Why are you single? But I want to assure you right now that I have every intention to perform this reading with honesty and compassion, okay? We're not here to dig into anyone's insecurities. We're here to uplift, okay? So we are inquiring, why are you single? Because first of all, there's nothing wrong with being single. Second of all, many of us just wonder, like, what is going on, you know? And we are the closest to our own minds, so it's not always easy to see when you're too close to the material. It's not always easy to see the patterns that we perpetuate. So we are taking a look at why are you single and what's next in love. So I have prepared 3 groups. I have shuffled out, I have not seen these yet, but I have shuffled out 1 card from this beautiful deck that is very snippy. So this is already going to give us a pretty good insight. I'm going to show you those in the readings though. I've also chosen crystals to accompany each group. So let me show you for group 1. Let's get a close up here. This is a peach moonstone. This is a peach moonstone. Beautiful, beautiful stone. That is for group 1. Group 2, this is, I believe it is a pink zebra jasper. Get you some vibes up close. Then group 3, this is your classic rose quartz. Gorgeous. Can't go wrong with her. Okay, that is group 3. So we have group 1, group 2, and group 3. I'm going to give you a moment to zone in or zone out. Before I do that, let me remind you, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do that on my website only. Please do not get scammed by people that reach out through you via DMs, via like fake accounts. Please be vigilant. There's lots of them out there, okay? So take a moment to see which group is calling you most, and then I will meet you at your reading. Timestamps are in the description below. Hi, group 1. This is your reading if you chose the peach moonstone. Let's focus on it one more time. You can do it. I believe in you. There she goes. Gorgeous. Looking like a piece of chicken, actually, now that I think about it. Okay, let's get into your reading. Let's forget about that, okay? So why are you single? This deck is snippy. So this is going to be a little bit of a snippy answer that is just like a singular card answer, but we're going to get a lot more depth and dimension with another deck, okay? We have the Chariot. My goodness. Okay, so this deck in particular, this deck's opinion as to why you are single has to do with the fact that you are a little bit flighty, perhaps. Like you are excitable, which could also mean that you are easily excitable about a person, but as fast as you are excited about them, you also give yourself the ick about them very quickly. Like as quickly as you fall into I don't even want to say love, but as quickly as you fall into infatuation with someone, just as quickly you're able to fall out of it. You maybe hop from attention grabbing experience to attention grabbing experience, meaning not necessarily that you hop from person to person, but that there's things that catch your eye that become more exciting. It's like, I'm getting like that saying, it's not even a saying, but like that running joke of, the way that dogs are like, squirrel, squirrel, all that has to happen, a squirrel walks by and they're distracted. I'm kind of getting that vibe, but I'm also getting the vibe that you may be of two minds at some times. It's like you really want something, but then you hold yourself back, or you really feel attracted to something, but then like maybe your heart and your mind can't get on the same page. All right, that is interesting. Now, let's get a little bit more information. Why is group 1 single? And like I said, we will get a sneak peek at what's next for you in love as well. I'm not just gonna leave you hanging, but we do want to kind of take a look at what are some of the patterns that are affecting your singlehood. Why is group 1 single at this time? And again, there's nothing wrong with being single. I'm perpetually single. It's fine. Look at that. We have the Chariots. Okay, you are definitely, it's like, I'm also hearing On to the Next One, which is a Jay-Z song. On to the next one, on to the next one. Which, yeah, just means like the moment that you kind of don't get the feedback that you were hoping for, you're like, okay, that's fine, I'm on to the next one. Or it could quite literally be for some of you that you have been moving a lot, that you have physically been moving a lot, not just like locations, but perhaps workplaces, right? Perhaps social groups, that you kind of jump from group to group so frequently that you don't set roots anywhere, and therefore also don't set roots with connections, right? Because it's kind of like, oh, that could have been something, but it didn't have time to develop into anything because you kind of uprooted yourself and moved into something else, whether that's a different hobby or a different job or a different city. Now, for some of you, this could also just mean that you quite recently moved and you just haven't, you just haven't had the time to root down where you're at. So it doesn't have to be like a long-standing pattern. It could just be that that's the circumstance right now. We have the Six of Cups. Why is group 1 single right now? We have the Queen of Wands. Yeah, I'm definitely getting like this vibe of idealism and a little bit of expectations that you have a hard time finding a match to those expectations. Why is group 1 single right now? And we have the Eight of Cups. Yeah, see, you walk away before something really can take hold. And even when something starts to root, we have the Ace of Pentacles. You're always kind of like, I think there's more out there. You know what this actually reminds me of? First of all, it reminds me of myself, because it makes me think of how I have a really hard time listening to music because I always have my music on shuffle and I always wonder what's next. Growing up, I used to watch MTV and I would always have the hardest time not like staying on one channel, because I would actually flip back and forth between MTV and another music channel because they were playing music videos back then, very long time ago, I know. But I would flip back and forth because I'd be like, okay, but I want to know what else is on. Okay, what music video is playing over here? Okay, what music video is playing over here? So there's this constant idea of, yeah, I have invested with this person, or yeah, this person is kind of interesting, but there's more. And it might not even be that you've invested with people. It could just be that when you're swiping on dating apps or something like that, where it's like, no, I can't see myself being with them. Like we're not even getting to the point to letting something germinate, right? A seed has to germinate. And while it germinates, it's under the ground and you cannot see the growth that happens. And a lot of seeds actually grow downwards first to grab a hold of the ground that they're in, and then they grow upwards. So that's definitely something that I'm seeing here, is that we struggle with patience, definitely with the 2 Chariot cards and the Queen of Wands. We struggle with patience in letting something grow and in letting something germinate, because we're so focused on potential. Tell me a bit more. Let's go deeper. We have the Moon card, yeah. Emotionally flighty. We have the 2 of Cups with the 6 of Cups. Emotionally flighty and yet very romantic at heart. And it almost feels like the idea of, having grown up with rom-coms and that setting some kind of ideal that when true romance that is full of nuance, when that smacks you in the face, you don't even recognize it. That's kind of what's coming through here. This definitely, look at how sweet the correlation is, where here we have 2 children with this cup, and then here we have 2 adults with their cups. There's definitely like some ideals from childhood that we are maybe projecting onto situations that kind of hinder us from seeing situations as they are, like the potential of situations as it truly is, because we're projecting some sort of more childish, naive, and I don't say that with judgment, but still, like as a child, you have a more simplified imagination over what romance is, right? It's like, well, then they say yes and I say yes and then we're married forever. Like that's kind of like I'm trying to find a word that sounds less judgmental than childish, because I don't mean it that way. It just is more of a young-hearted perspective, And sometimes when we have when we grow up and we step into the reality of what dating is, especially in this day and age, that inner child gets really, really kind of beat down, because it's like, yeah, that's unfortunately not how it goes. We have the Knight of Wands with the Queen of Wands. So again, very impatient energy. Tell me about this 8 of Cups. And we have the Wheel of Fortune. I'll try my luck elsewhere. That's what's coming through. It's like when something doesn't germinate fast enough, you're like, I'll try my luck elsewhere because I'm fine, with the Strength card, which to me also shows that part of the reason that you are single has to do with you are in search of something that matches your expectation. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with not settling. You have your mindset on a particular sensation when it comes to truly connecting with someone. However, the main thing that I'm seeing here, what I would warn you about, is to have more patience, because I do think that perhaps there have been situations where you could have gotten to the level of connection that you are seeking, but your impatience was kind of like your impatience cut experiences short because there is this defeatist energy. Now, the Wheel of Fortune definitely does indicate to me that this isn't necessarily something that you need to fix about yourself. This isn't something that you need to change about yourself. This feels like a season of you establishing expectations. And with the Strength card as well, you are getting to a place of moderation. That's kind of like the focus of like bringing your impulse control to a place of moderation, or your impatience to a place of moderation. And let me take a look at what's underneath the Strength card. Yeah, see, you're doing it for the right reasons. It's just that I would warn you to not become insensitive towards true potential. Do not become insensitive towards true potential because you are feeling, because you've kind of automated the process of like, well, these are my expectations, bim, bim, bim. I don't know why I said that. And you don't check this box, you don't check that box, goodbye. Which I definitely get the tendency to do that. I mean, I understand the tendency to do that. But what I am seeing is that you may be leaving some money on the table, meaning you may be leaving some potential on the table. Can I get some astrological energies on this? For group 1, why is group 1 single? We have the 3rd house, we have Leo energy, and we have Mercury. Yeah, this is a very kind of mental process. We have the 3rd house, which is the house of communication and mental processes. This is Leo energy, which is very much like, no, I've decided, I have to take charge in this, with the Strength card as well. And then Mercury is also like that checkbox of like, well, these are all the areas that you check off and these are not. And so that's really kind of where your focus is at this time of like, I'm not willing to settle for anything. Which is totally fine. I'm not going to say you need to change anything. You also don't need to not be single, right? But I will say that if you are looking for meaningful connection anytime soon, you are going to have to employ some moderation when it comes to the impatience. We're going to have to give people more chances. We're going to have to give people more grace. And I do see you walking towards that ultimately, because that's where this person is headed. And we have the Ace of Cups underneath that. I think for the right person, you're definitely going to want to kind of tone down. This Queen of Wands and Knight of Wands, it's not that you'll tone them down. It's that they will transform into excitement for the connection, right? So instead of being like impatient towards it, it will be with the right person, it will become excitement. So not bad. Let's see, let's get some oracle cards. Actually, I want to start with a different deck. Let's see. For group 1, when it comes to being single, is there a blind spot that we need to be aware of for group 1? That fell to the floor. We have inner life. Your inner life is a garden to be cultivated. It's interesting because that's really kind of what we were talking about with these energies as well. And that being a blind spot, that's interesting. Especially perhaps with this Chariot energy and with the moon, I could see some kind of emotional avoidance, that there is maybe a desire that we are neglecting, that there's maybe a desire for connection that we are neglecting, and therefore we're jumping from person to person, or from, again, not necessarily physically, but even just the mental focus of like, oh, this week this is a potential, next week this is a potential. So there might be something that we are actually avoiding, because it does seem like internally there is a hopeless romantic within you, maybe not as hopeless, but there is like this very sweet romantic that is within you. And I think that also fuels your search. But the inner life being a blind spot maybe is an ask to focus on more in order to, because this energy here is very bouncy, very bouncy. And I think in order to find something that is very authentic, we have to calm that energy down. And again, I'm not saying that we have to calm you down, right? But that feeling of like, your energy searching for connection, and it's like, is a connection here? No. Is a connection here? No. Is a connection here? We need to bring this to a center and be like, no, just keep your energy where you are, like keep your energy centered, and ultimately connection will find you. And it will find you like in a mutually receptive way without you having to kind of like go out of your way to connect to someone else. Because right now it feels like this energy is kind of like flubber. It's bouncing all over the place. And what you're headed towards is an energy that's a lot more moderated, that's a lot more calm. And that's what I think this inner life card is trying to tell us as well, is to like bring that internal energy a lot more, center your own energy more. And then thereby you will kind of, especially because this moon card also has these two howling wolves, really speaks of like, you know, finding someone who wants the same thing as you. What is an aspect that group 1 should release when it comes to being single? What is an aspect when it comes to being happily single, right? What is an aspect group 1 should release? We have poet. And then what is an aspect that group 1 should embrace when it comes to being single? That is so interesting because both of these, again, very cerebral, because we're talking about mental energy a lot. Both of these are very verbal energies. One is poet and one is scribe. And that's interesting because the only difference between those two energies is that poet takes a lot more liberties when it comes to describing reality. And scribe, it says preserving knowledge and information. It's about being a lot more meticulous with accuracy, and therefore I think more realistic. And so poet as an energy to release, I think has to do with this romanticism, right? This overly romantic expectation. When we release that and when we take a look at more so the information as it is handed to us, because I'm thinking of, you know, meeting a person and being interested in them, but feeling like it's not as romantic as I would hope it would be. It's not as, you know, they're not making the kind of like romantic gestures that I expect. Well, they don't know that you'd expect that, and not everybody expects that nowadays. And so we do have to make sure that our communication matches up with sharing our expectations so that that person can have the opportunity to live up to that expectation or not, right? And so I think this has a lot to do about in communication, when meeting someone, when first talking to someone, right? Being in the talking stage, to kind of not put so much pressure on the other person, to kind of call back your energy with that inner life card, and to be less cryptic, less romanticizing the idea of them, and to be more honest and more authentic. Let's get a moon card. And so that can also put you in a place to just be more receptive to connections that don't necessarily have to lead to a relationship, right? It just makes you more receptive to really kind of exploring connections in general. Can we get a moon card that is going to be most significant in terms of, yep, we already got it. And I am happy to say that it is the Hunger card, which totally connects with this moon card, because yes, you have a hunger for something that you're currently not satiating, right? That you're currently not fully addressing, because it's almost like you're eating little appetizers everywhere, and you don't stick around for the full meal. And an appetizer, when you go to a restaurant, yeah, an appetizer can be really good, but typically an appetizer is not really fully representative of what the kitchen is capable of, right? So you're going to all these restaurants and you're just having an appetizer and you're not sticking around for a full course meal. And so therefore you're actually cheating yourself out of a lot of really interesting connections, I think. Easy for me to say, but I struggle with the same problems, trust me. Okay, actually, before I do that, we're gonna get a look now at what's next in love. Let's take a look at what's next. For group one, let's get a sneak peek into their love life. What is next for all my single babes in group one? What is next for group one in love? We have the Hierophant. And we're going to get 3 cards. We have the Ace of Wands, and we have the High Priestess that came out with, I will take a sneak peek at them. Look, we have the Chariot, we have the 5 of Cups. Oh, I see you working on the, okay, I really love this because to me, this says what's next is that you're really going to take this reading to heart, and that makes me so happy. Oh, that makes me so happy. This really says like you're going to take this reading to heart and really think about how you can practice being more patient with yourself and others and being more compassionate and being, just more patient in letting things grow. Because look at that. We have the Hierophant, we have the Ace of Swords, and we have the High Priestess. And this was the little sideline story of the Chariot again, which indicates that there is this desire to actually kind of like the flightiness that we have. We're going to apply that to wanting to figure this out, right? With the 8 of Pentacles being like, wait, okay, maybe the way that I have been doing things doesn't work out. How can I work on this? A big desire to figure this out. So, but in terms of what's next in love, we have the Hierophant. So I definitely see that there's like a desire for you to apply this insight, to apply this awareness. And even if you kind of feel like, oh, I don't really understand what this lady's going on about, there is part of this that you are internalizing. And over time, this kind of permeates into your awareness and it will affect your choices. So I really love that. I do kind of want to get some clarification for this Hierophant card because I wonder if for some of you, let me just see what comes out. Can I get some more insight for this Hierophant card? We have the Emperor. Yeah, see, I feel like there's a strong motivation for you to be like, okay, I'm going to like truly get a grip on this, and through that actually gaining a lot of understanding over your expectations in love, but also with this High Priestess, understanding more so of why you have certain expectations, meaning what needs those are in place for, right? What needs are feeding those expectations. And that just puts you in a place of really being in your authority, puts you in a place to really being able to negotiate with. And I know that sounds very unsexy, but if you think about it, a first date, a second date is a place of negotiation, right? It is, hey, this is who I am, this is what I bring to the table, who are you, what do you bring to the table, and is that compatible? And so that really puts you in a place to being more in control. Yeah, see, a lot more in control, a lot more moderated, and a lot more willing to actually put effort into connections that maybe you would have previously dismissed. I love this as an outcome of what's next for you in love. It doesn't sound very sexy to you maybe, but to me, this sounds like very, very important work that's going to put you in a place to actually be really empowered in the way that you make decisions in your dating life, because it doesn't put you in a place of need. It puts you in a place of, hey, I figured my thing out. Now I'm looking for someone who's figured their things out, you know? So I personally, I would argue it is very sexy, but that's just me. Also, I think you are a very cerebral person, so I think that you may agree. Okay. Any last considerations or advice for what's next in love for group 1? Unapologetic. And we're gonna get one more. But yeah, with that Emperor card, with that Strength card, like we're becoming more, like I almost feel like maybe in the past, whenever something didn't work out, maybe you would ghost people, right? And maybe you didn't quite know how to communicate that you weren't interested. Maybe, you know, it just feels like the second something felt off, you completely withdraw your energy. And now this reads more as the second that something feels off, we're like, that feels off. And then that allows people to correct that if it needs correcting, right? There's more grace in being unapologetic and being more so like, no, this is who I am, and if that offends you, then that gives me an answer, right? But if it doesn't, then that gives us an opportunity to maybe get back on the same page. And we have the secret. That to me feels like this is the secret sauce. You discovering the secret sauce is recognizing that you have the magic within. You recognizing that the secret sauce to you actually being really open to connections has a lot to do with you not kind of unplugging the moment that something doesn't seem to match up to the romantic ideals that you have. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I think that was very cool, and I really hope that resonated, that it is constructive, that it gives you an idea of how to move forward when it comes to, again, your singlehood. You don't have to fix that. You don't have to fix anything about yourself. This is just about awareness. And so the more we move with awareness, the more we can choose partners with awareness. And that's really what is going to stick in the long run. The partners that we choose with awareness, and not just because we're repeating patterns, right? Awesome. I'm going to leave it there. If you would like to book a personal reading, you can check out my website. I'm also offering astrology readings. I have natal chart readings. I just added a transit check-in, which is a really cute opportunity for us to chat about what's going on in your life, and for me to contextualize that in regards to the transits that are affecting your chart. So that was just added. Go check that out. And other than that, I hope I get to read for you again sometime. Until then, take care. Hi, Group 2. This is your reading if you chose the pink zebra jasper. There we go. My brain kind of lagged for a second, but I got there. Very proud of myself. We are taking a look at why are you single? And in order to start that off, I have one card here that's from a very snippy deck, which is going to give us kind of like a one card answer, but we're going to go way more in depth with lots of other cards. So, what is this deck's opinion on why you are single? We have the Page of Pentacles. Interesting. So the first thing that's coming to mind with the Page of Pentacles is the fact that you have a lot to offer. And when I'm thinking of the page is kind of like this exciting energy of having something that is worth investing, having a seed that is worth planting, and the excitement of, what am I going to do with it? Where am I going to put it? Where am I going to invest it? There's a lot of potential, and you don't just want to squander that potential, right? And I think that has a lot to do with you recognizing your potential. That has a lot to do with this recognition of your worth. and what you bring to the table. So I like that. I mean, considering how snippy this deck is, that is a very sweet answer. So let's get some more cards and get a more layered and in-depth look at why you are single. So for group 2, what's going on? Why is group 2 single? I just want to emphasize once again that there's absolutely nothing wrong with being single, but it's interesting to kind of take a look at why. Why is there this lifestyle choice, you know? Because sometimes it is something that we're not aware of. Sometimes it is by choice. Sometimes it feels like it's out of our control. So let's see. For group 2, why is group 2 single? We have the Ace of Swords. I mean, I think you know. I think for you it is somewhat by choice. I do think you have a very, very good awareness of your worth and your potential. But let's get some more information. Yeah. I love you. I absolutely adore you because look at this energy. It's like, bitch, nobody can keep up with me. I love this. And I only laugh because I'm like, wow, yes. If more people had this attitude, we'd see a lot less unhappy people, you know? Yes, we have the Two of Cups come out. You know what you bring to the table so clearly. Oh my God, are you a Capricorn? Yes. I adore you. Are you shitting me? Are you? Oh my God. Beauty, brains. This is making me think of a Beyonce song. I got beauty, I got class, I got style, and I got ass. I think I might have butchered that. That is incredible. This is such hot energy, like hot off the presses. Like this is, you are better than a buttered bun. That is not even a saying that I use. You are making me blush. You are so hot. First of all, you are so, I okay, let me pull it together. You are so smart. You are clever. I imagine that you, when you want to be, I think you're probably pretty good at flirting. Like you're the kind of person that is just very cunning when it comes to being flirtatious. And not a lot of people can keep up with that. It is so difficult to find people of substance, first of all, but it is also so difficult to find people that can keep up with wit, that can keep up with, and so many people are really intimidated by confident people. And let me tell you, I do not think that you are lacking confidence. You know your worth. And if you feel like I'm saying things that you don't connect with, then this is spirit like trying to give you a very loving smack and be like, this is your worth. And that is why you are single, because it is difficult to match a diamond to a diamond. You know, like diamonds have flaws, and it is difficult to find two diamonds to put in the same space that are equally matched in flawlessness. And now I'm not trying to say that you are flawless, because we all have flaws and our flaws make us beautiful. But I am saying that you have an awareness and an intelligence that is matched by your beauty, that is matched by your energy, first of all, but by your ability to give and provide and nurture. You have kind of like perhaps a little bit of a harder shell. I could easily see you being a Cancer, first of all. I said Capricorn earlier, but also Cancer is coming through. But you have perhaps a little bit of a hard shell. But then beyond that, and of course, Scorpio. Of course, Scorpio. This is Scorpio all over. But beyond that hard shell is definitely like this incredible depth of loyalty and compassion and dedication. Incredible energy, flawless energy. Are you kidding me? And for this incredible, beautiful energy to come out as the reason as to why you're single, well, duh, who's gonna match that? Who's gonna match that? That doesn't mean that it's impossible, but that's gonna take time. Because you can't just plug in anyone here, you know? Tell me about this Ace of Swords. Why is group 2 single? Group 2, you're so hot. Are you... Are you kidding me? That's the 10 of Pentacles. Are you kidding me? Cue the Succession theme song. That is incredible. And the Ace of Swords to come out with that is like, yeah, I know that I'm all that and a bag of chips. I know that I am that. I know what I bring to the table. I know the kind of wealth that I bring to the table, whether that is physical, whether that is energetic, whether that is emotional. I mean, the pentacles are typically physical, but still, it's like whatever kind of wealth you bring is what translates to that. It's like, I know how to make things happen. First of all, great manifestation energy as well. So you might actually be on a journey of manifesting a partner that can match your energy. And that is going to take a lot of shifts and a lot of moving parts to really be in the right place, because look at you. Because look at you. Tell me about this High Priestess. That was the Hermit. Yeah, this is this energy of like, are you kidding me? You are like, what do they call diamonds when they're like really rare, when they're like really fine? You're like fine art, because I mean, first of all, you're rare. And that's it. That's like the main answer as to why you're single, because you're so rare. But you got brains, you got class, you got intuition, you got a spiritual connection. So you not only have all these things, but that also requires a partner that can connect and appreciate with all of those things. Connect with and appreciate all of those things. Meaning that has to be someone who is smart, intelligent, but that also has to be someone who doesn't use his intelligence to intellectualize and defeat your spirituality, right? Or undermine, I should say, not defeat, undermine your spirituality. It has to be someone who's also emotionally mature, and it has to be someone who can match your level of self-sufficiency and nurturance. So with that Hermit card, this is the fact that the reason that you're single is because you know it's smarter to be in solitude. It's smarter to stay single than to give your rare energy away for less than it's worth. Yeah, look at that. Oh my God, I love you. I love you so much. Are you kidding me? The Justice card underneath the Two of Cups. Again, every row says, I know what I'm worth, because I know what I'm worth, because I know not what I'm worth. So let's just finish this off. Tell me about this Empress card. We have the Strength card, because I know what I'm worth. Interesting, we have the Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Let me take a peek at what's underneath that. We have the Eight of Pentacles. This is because you have actually left. Okay, I see. This doesn't just come. You weren't just born this way. I mean, in a lot of ways, of course, you were born this way. But this has always been your path. But I can see here that there was a lot of work that went into you reaching this level of confidence, you reaching this level of self-awareness, you reaching this level of, no, I deserve more. There's a lot of work that went into that. And the Six of Swords does indicate that you are actually moving away through very difficult lessons that you have internalized. You're actually moving away from making choices that do not align with that. And because of that, the energy is so strong. The energy is so, no, I will not settle for anything other than what matches this, this is impeccable energy. Impeccable. Let's get some astrological energies on this. We have the 6th house, we have Aries, and we have Pluto energy. Yeah, this is very much like, no, I deserve to be served. I love that. I deserve, and not just I deserve like on a good day, or I don't just deserve a good honeymoon phase. Like, no, I deserve on a daily basis. 6th house is the house of daily routines. It's a very mundane house. And to have this energy, it is also the house of servitude. And to have this energy be filled with Pluto and Aries is very much deep transformational work that took place in kind of like uprooting patterns and behaviors that maybe were more impulsive in the past. And for a lot of you, this is very different journeys that you've had, right? But you're all coming to the same and again, I'm going back to the diamond, right? How is a diamond made? Under pressure. It takes pressure and pressure and pressure and refinement and refinement and refinement. And then at the end of it, the natural raw state of a diamond, we still take that and polish it and polish it and polish it, right? So this has been a long time coming for every single one of you that this applies to. This is not just, you woke up one day and then you were like, I think I deserve more. No, this came through a lot of rebirth. And anger, probably a lot of disappointment and anger and heartache. And you're finally at a point where it's like, no, I'm not putting up with anything less than. So I absolutely adore that. I love you for that. I want to shout it from the rooftops for you, because absolutely do not ever settle for anything less than, because you're like, I can be my own best company. If I'm not going to find what I'm looking for, then I'm not going to settle. Because you have a lot to offer, but you're also very aware of how to manage it now. In the past, maybe you gave it away. Maybe, you were overly giving, and then that would end up in you latching on to people that were just overly taking. And so now with the Strength card underneath the Empress, you've learned how to bring moderation into your generosity too. What is a blind spot that group 2 might not be aware of when it comes to being single? We have 2 cards come out. We have confusion and inner integration, and that's definitely what I'm feeling very heavily with this reading. There is peace, equilibrium, and fulfillment in integrating the inner wild with the taming and tempering effect life has on us. I think this is the place that you've come from, and you've moved into this, because I see this connecting with the 6 of Swords. It's the same imagery, and the colors here are connecting with this energy. And this says confusion. Growth hurts, heals, and harnesses a way through uncertainty. Yeah, you have come a long way. You have come an ultra long way. And Spirit wants to honor that. And they want to also honor that with, a partner that matches that same kind of tenacity, that same kind of dedication to self. Because that's what I see for you, is that you are truly dedicated to yourself. And that deserves a partner that is just as dedicated to themselves and doesn't require you to do emotional labor for them, So let's see. I mean, for you, honestly, I don't really see Spirit being like, oh, you have to do this or that. Like, no, you have done so much work. So in terms of why are you single, it's because you have done so much work. So yeah, you can't just settle for whatever comes along. That doesn't mean that you can't have fun in the meantime, right? Okay, what is an aspect that group 2 should release when it comes to, I'd say it's when it comes to love, because I think you're managing singlehood very eloquently. Ooh, okay, Spirit calling you out immediately. We have Monk Nun. What is an energy, an aspect for group 2 to embrace when it comes to love? We have Gossip. Okay, this is very interesting because what we're seeing here is, we have Visionary at the bottom of the deck. What we're seeing here is a dichotomy between silence, the Hermit, and communication, because gossip is communication, and it's communication that requires trust. So I said that Spirit is calling you out immediately here because what they want you to release is it says negative judgment of the physical world, excess piety. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Piety. I know what it means, but I don't know if I pronounce it correctly. But especially because we have this whole energy, which I'm totally for. I mean, I'm eating it up here, but totally for this whole stance of like, no, I deserve more, I deserve more, I deserve more. Now, Monk Nun is all about restriction. It's all about complete disconnection from society. It's disconnection, it is restriction, it is devotion. And so I do see that you have been very devoted to yourself, but Spirit's saying it is time to connect with others again. Because here we are kind of being too unapproachable, right? And with the energy to embrace, we have Gossip. It says awakens consideration for the feelings of others, honoring trust. Now, gossip is a form of communication, and I know it has a negative connotation, but really what is important here is about the fact that we share gossip to build trust with people. We share gossip with people that we trust, right? Yeah, there are some people that will share gossip with just anyone, but I can tell that's not you. And so this is about going from extreme restriction and not sharing any information about yourself to sharing with people once they have shown that they are interested, to kind of let the flow of communication be guided by trust. So there's definitely a need to kind of not distance yourself, to not create too much of a I'm seeing like a moat, and I don't even know if that's the right word, but like in the Middle Ages, when the town was like surrounded by moats, where it made it harder for people to kind of attack and to storm. That's what I'm seeing, where it's like we've created a lot of walls and moats and distance, and we have to kind of create points of entry, points of connection, in order to be able to be open to what wants to come in eventually, right? Let's get a moon card for you. What is an energy that's going to be most significant when it comes to love for group 2? Did that say will? It does. Interesting. That is actually very lovely, because again, you are so aware of like, I don't need anyone. That means that the only way for you to find someone is if you want someone. If you want. And so this has a lot to do, has a lot to do with, of course, your willpower. Look, we have attraction at the bottom of the deck. This is saying that, yeah, you can, if like the moment that, because, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm like, just keep starting new sentences. This is telling me that because you have done so much work on yourself, it is now up to you. It is not a matter of you kind of eliminating any blockages. It's a matter of, do you want to? And again, there's nothing wrong with being single, and there's nothing wrong with enjoying your singlehood, and there's nothing wrong with wanting your singlehood to end and, wanting to engage with the possibility of connection again. But this card is saying what's going to be most significant in making the change from going to single to committed is going to have to do with your will, with your willpower. This is going to be something that you have to want to do. And then, of course, it's still going to come down to matching your energy to an energy that is just as developed and just as dedicated as yours. But that's what you find through trust, right? That's what you find through putting yourself out there and then deciding whether somebody is worth your trust or not. Like, that's the whole process that none of us can avoid that, unfortunately. But I do see that you have gone through a ton of work, and now it's just about, do you want to? Do you want to get back out there? Okay, we are going to now pull some tarot cards and get a sneak peek at what's next for you in love. For group 2. For group 2, what is next in love? Well, there is that feeling of willpower of like, yeah, I want to, and then in come the dates. That is definitely, for me, this always feels like going on dates, the 7 of Cups. Okay, so I have been lately paying a great deal of attention to the cards that kind of flip out but don't decide not to come out. And I saw the 7 of Swords along with the 2 of Swords. And so to me that indicates what's next in your love life is that I do see you making the decision to put yourself back out there and then being met with situations where you have to be very aware of the communication that is being exchanged. You have to be very you know your worth. You have to apply it now. You've been doing a lot of work on integrating your worth, integrating your attitude towards yourself. And this is the real world application. How can we stand by that in the face of being challenged by other people, right? And then we have the Ace of Cups, and I like that because that does indicate that one of these cups is definitely going to be a winner. It seems like. We have the Fool card. I see you taking a leap of faith onto a new dating journey. We have the 6 of Swords coming out again. Again, you're leaving something behind. You're leaving like the old way of doing things in love behind in favor of that Ace of Cups. Wait, that was the 8 of Pentacles. I thought I saw the Ace of Cups earlier. No, but look at the 8 of, you've overcome a lot of unhealthy attachments. I definitely see that. Let me get one more down here. That was the 7 of Wands jumping, but not coming out. Page of Pentacles, yep. And that is the Page of Pentacles right over here. So we're ending where we started when it comes to, because you're very self-aware when it comes to what you're capable of. And I do feel like because when I saw this card, I was of course thinking of this card because I'm thinking of him having this, oh, where do I invest this, right? I found this coin, where do I invest this? And so for it to come out in the end where I get to see that imagery, to me that indicates knowing what you are worth and then finding something that is just as shiny, finding that matching diamond. Now this is definitely indicating that it's not just gonna find you the very first try with the 7 of Cups. It's definitely going to be a search, but as long as you stand by what you know and as long as you don't fall back into old patterns, you will find exactly what it is that you're looking for. And that is very exciting, because that, I think, is very, very much going to be something that really matches your energy. And that has a lot of potential, you know. Okay, where are we at? Now, let's grab this deck. Any last considerations or advice when it comes to love for group 2? Any last considerations or advice? Oh, we have follow it. And we have depths. I want one more. And we have treasure. Look at those beautiful blues. And then we have clarity, another blue. Clarity at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, you've become way more clear on what it is that you are, what you provide in any kind of connection, not just romantic. But follow it is about following your intuition, engaging. You have a very strong connection to your inner high priestess, to your inner hermit, a very strong connection that you've been building, that you've been integrating over time. And so get that part of you involved in the dating process, right? Don't ignore that just because you're being wined and dined by someone, right? Treasure is really about being so aware of what you bring to the table, and depths is about not being afraid to ask the difficult questions when you engage with people, especially because we saw that gossip card. Don't be afraid to really ask the things that you want to know, because that is what's going to illuminate to you whether this person can keep up with you, right? But I think this also indicates that you have done a lot of work, and you have done a lot of work on yourself. Again, we talked about this rebirth process, and through that you have become that diamond. You have been compressed, you have been polished, and so you deserve to be admired as well. So also go on dates just to be admired. You don't have to find the love of your life on every date, right? Just go be admired, because you deserve it. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Again, there's nothing wrong with being single, but you definitely deserve to be wined and dined. Let me just tell you that. If you would like to book a personal reading, you can do so on my website. The information is linked below. I'm also offering astrology readings, so natal chart readings. I just started offering a natal, a transit check-in, which is a really fun kind of live call where you and I can hang out, talk about what's going on in your life, and hopefully get you some context on how the transits are affecting your chart and how that might be translating into your life. So that is something that you can check out. That is live now, so go and book that if you are interested. Other than that, I hope I get to read for you again sometime. Until then, take care. Hi, Group 3. This is your reading. If you chose this lovely, can we focus? There we go. This lovely rose quartz. We're going to set this down right up here, and we're taking a look at why are you single and what's next in love. So we're starting off with this deck that is very snippy. And so this is going to be kind of like a one card answer, and then we'll of course get lots more cards to get some more insight to why you may be single. But this is kind of like this deck's perspective on the big picture. So let's see, why are you single, Group 3? Oh, we have the Knight of Wands. I just had something come to mind and I can't say it. It was a joke, but it's the first thing that I heard. And I can't say it. 'Cause you, I can't say it. Okay. No, let me try. So one reason that you might be single could have to do with, with an air of impatience, but also with like a fiery desire to try lots of different things. That's a good way to say it. A fiery desire to try lots of different things. Now we're going to get lots of different cards to get a little bit more depth to that. But this deck, like I said, is very snippy, and it's like, well, because you can't decide what you want. You want a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything all of the time. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Definitely a little bit of hesitancy to settle down as well. Okay, let's get some more information on this. Tell us, why is group 3 single at this time? And again, I just want to emphasize that there's absolutely nothing wrong with being single. We're just getting some insight just so that we can enjoy our singlehood with awareness, or if we choose that we are not enjoying our singlehood, so that we can step out of the singlehood with awareness. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Never mind, somebody's gonna snatch you up. I feel like this is a very snappy crowd here, group 3. It's giving fire sign, of course, with that Knight of Wands, but still, it's giving Sagittarius vibes. It's giving, yeah, it's giving confidence for sure. We have the 6 of Wands. We have the Fool. It almost feels like what you conquer people. That's what I'm saying. Like when you snag someone, it's like, oh, that was too easy. Well, now I'm not interested anymore. Very interesting. And then we have the 5 of Wands. See, you like a little fight. You like a little bit of tension. And we have the High Priestess at the bottom of the deck. I do find it interesting, group 3, you are my last group. And so far, none of the groups that I've read, nobody is single because they're ugly. Nobody is single because they're miserable. To some degree, all of us are kind of like, well, because, you know, who knows what's out there? Who knows, like, to some degree. Different flavors, but your flavor is definitely hot tamale. You're so funny. Your energy is very funny. It's like you like to have fun. Girls just want to have fun. It's coming through. You like to have fun. You like to celebrate. You like to get attention for sure with the 6 of Wands. And whenever you get someone's attention, it's kind of like, okay, well, that's done. Where else can I get attention? Haha. It's interesting that we have the High Priestess here, because it definitely indicates that you are also very in tune with figuring people out. Like I think you figure people out a lot quicker than the average person, and therefore you kind of get a little bit bored maybe. And the Wheel of Fortune just kind of indicates this idea of round and round she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows. There's definitely like an air of unpredictability about you. And you love that. You really enjoy that. You really embrace that. And it kind of makes, I'm just getting this sense of like, I zig and then I zag. And it's just, your energy is very like, you can't catch me. And there might be plenty of people that want to catch you. And if you feel like that's not the case, then I feel like, again, you just kind of want to be wanted, perhaps. And that's why you're single, because it's like, well, once you feel like somebody has you, then you don't feel wanted anymore. It's a difficult feeling. Tell me about this Wheel of Fortune. We have the Moon. I'm having a song come through, and give me a second. It's something that is like, I'm looking, I feel like it's a Bruce Springsteen song, but I don't actually know what it is. Something about looking, been searching. If you know what that song is, tell me, because I can't get it. We have the Death card underneath the Six of the Six of Wands. Trust me, I'm not laughing at you. I'm definitely laughing with you, because this feels like if I don't get attention, I'll die. If I don't get attention, I'll perish. My goodness. Oh, the Hermit card coming out underneath the Fool. That, look at how much deeper the second row is, though. The first row is all about, like, it's dramatic in a very different way. It's like dramatic in a very shiny way, and this is dramatic in a very dark way, which definitely indicates that you, I think, are two minds. Like, there's this part of you that definitely wants instant gratification, that wants attention. Yeah, look at how deep the second row is. You want gratification, you want, you know, you want to be wanted, you want to have fun. And in this second row is very much, it's a lot darker. Oh, look at the Devil. Okay, all right, you are fascinating. You could also be a Gemini. But this second row speaks of a lot more depth than you might want to admit. There's definitely a lot more. You have a hard time committing to a version of yourself, it feels like. And I think that that's perhaps something that you think is an issue. I don't think that at all. I think that's why I'm kind of struggling to make sense of this, because I'm like, I don't think that you are allowed to be many things all at once. And I almost feel like you kind of jump from person to person, because here you can be this, here you can be that. And I think there's almost like this fear of allowing someone to see both sides of you, or all sides of you. Wow, notice how much deeper this got, because you are very like, let's keep it on the surface, but that's not who I am, so I'm gonna dig. And look at what we found. We found a lot. There's definitely like this sense of, I'd rather jump ship before you actually get to see the parts of myself that I think you would feel like don't fit into what I've presented to you. Like, before somebody gets to... And you know what? With this Devil card, I think too that you actually feel like you would scare people off with your intensity. Because that's the thing, you're very intense, but maybe you've learned through experience that your intensity is welcomed in a form of somebody to have fun with, but that it's not so much appreciated when it becomes something that people need to help you with. That hurts. That hurts. It's kind of like when people want to have fun, they come to you. And so you kind of embrace that role. But your intensity goes both ways. Your intensity is a good time, but your intensity is also a dark place sometimes. And I think you have a hard time kind of accepting that about yourself, and therefore you have a hard time finding someone who can accept that, or who you will feel comfortable enough with to let them see that. I think that's more so it. Because I do think that there's part of you that you are hiding. And it's almost like the moment that you get, you want attention, and the moment that you get too much attention, when somebody gives you too much and wants to know more, then it's like, meh, skirt, I'm out. And you might actually do that through starting arguments. You might actually, whether these are people that are just options, whether these are in like the budding of a relationship, that when somebody actually wants to commit to you, or when they want you to commit to them, that you fight that off because you have a hard time facing the idea of, this is coming through so interestingly because it almost feels like you are this animated being, and the idea of a committed relationship feels like somebody drawing an outline around you, and you're constantly moving. Like I see like this hand trying to draw, and then I see this animated being like, no, I don't want an outline. I don't want a boundary. I want to be like unknowable. What's underneath this Devil card? The Eight of Pentacles. Oof, see? Because specifically in this deck, the Eight of Pentacles is represented by like an artist, kind of like using their muse to inspire them and to perfect their art. And for you, it almost feels like you would be the muse, and like you're so exposed and someone would see every side of you, and that feels really scary. Oh my goodness, the way the energy dropped. I mean, it was so giddy and so jumpy, and then it's like it settled down. But it's interesting because that's how you first introduced yourself, with that giddy energy. And so I think that's how you introduce yourself to people in general. I think there's a big fear here of really being known. And I can definitely understand that. I think it's very understandable. But you deserve to be known, and you deserve to be loved for who you are. And that doesn't have to feel like restriction. That doesn't have to feel like changing who you are. Let's roll some astro dice on this, see what kind of astro energies we get here. We have the 7th house, which is the house of committed relationships. We have Mercury, and we have Pisces energy. Pisces is boundless. Pisces energy is like, I don't want to have a boundary. I don't want to have an outline. Definitely that. Connecting to that. Mercury is the thought process, right? But Mercury is also that quick-witted, quick shifting energy. The 7th house, of course, the house of relationships. And so having that kind of energy there is kind of like not wanting to be held accountable for the things that you said you want, right? Or for the things that you said you are. It's like this, like, yeah, I want to be whoever I am with you today. And if that's not who I am tomorrow, then I want to be whoever I am tomorrow. Which is very Piscean. But it's this idea of there's a lot of fear here of being held accountable to something that you said or did, and you kind of want to evade that accountability. And that Hierophant energy is all about accountability, and the idea of a committed relationship feels like accountability. And it's kind of like, I'd rather just be held only accountable by myself. Let's get you some oracle cards. What is a blind spot when it comes to being single for group 3? What is a blind spot? I will say that with the fact that your crystal is rose quartz, I do feel like this reading, more so than the others, you really want to practice more self-acceptance and self-love. Because I think the reason that you consciously or subconsciously evade connection has a lot to do with your fear of being being seen and being loved for who you are, because there are parts of yourself that you sort of kind of deny. We have circles. Now, I do want to point out that we have this Knight of Wands horse here, and then we have this horse in that same kind of position. Clarity begins in the eye of the storm. And to be honest, it does feel like you have sort of like stormy energy. And we have inner integration at the bottom of the deck. There is peace, equilibrium, and fulfillment in integrating the inner wild with the taming and tempering effect life has on us. Clarity begins in the eye of the storm. This is a blind spot for you. I do feel like you have somewhat like stormy energy, and I think that in a lot of ways, a lot of people have told you that that's a bad thing. They may have told you that your intensity, again, is a bad thing. I think that it's inevitable for you to discover that that is your power, that is your power, and that is not a bad thing. Your intensity, your ability to whirl up other energies is a power. And once you recognize that it's a power, you start learning how to use it. And once you learn how to use it, you use it constructively versus in a destructive way. What is an energy that group 3 should release? Just in general. What is an energy group 3 should release? We have exorcists. See, there's this idea. You think that you have to change something about yourself, that there's something that you have to rid yourself of before you are capable of being in a true connection with someone. What is an energy that group 3 should embrace? And Spirit does not agree with that. We have poet. Boop, boop, boop. It's interesting because poet came out for group 1, but on this side of what to release. And what I spoke about in that reading was releasing the kind of like the over romanticizing. And I think for you, this is about embracing, romanticizing yourself more. Exorcist says fear of facing your own demons. My camera just stopped for a second, so I hope I didn't lose anything, but that's what this is talking about, that there are certain things that are beyond comprehension. There are certain things in life that don't make sense, but they feel right. And there is something about you that is not, it doesn't fit in a box. It doesn't fit you. You don't fit in a box, and that's okay. At the bottom of the deck, we have damsel. Understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. I think this is very much talking about really embracing yourself more, right? Embracing self-acceptance and really just kind of, also because it says relying on yourself, inspires you to rely on yourself, especially when it comes to feeling accomplished and feeling good about yourself. Being able to cultivate that from within and not through external attention, not through external validation, I think is going to be very important for you to be able to feel more comfortable in your singlehood. We're going to get a moon card for you. And this is going to be, what is the energy most significant for group 3 when it comes to love at this time? What is the energy that is most significant at this time? Boop. We have gratitude. I really think that this has to do with yourself, your connection to self, and pleasure. Your connection to self, that showing yourself more gratitude. All right, we are going to get some tarot cards to take a look at what's next in love. Now, because my camera, for some reason, freaked out, I don't actually know where we were at time-wise. What is next in love for group 3? The Ace of Swords. That is an aha moment. That is a moment of insight. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Recognizing your worth more, recognizing your duality. There's another word that's trying to come through. But just recognizing that all of you is valid. Yes, I love this. We have the Ace of Pentacles. We're going to get some more information on that, but there's definitely some opportunity for connection or some opportunity for, look at that. You're definitely working on your confidence. I love this. And I think, here's the thing, and I think I said that earlier. I don't think that you're necessarily lacking confidence in a particular area. Like there's like this extrovert shell that you're able to portray. But there are things that you kind of hide away because you think you have to hide them away in order to be accepted. I think you are on the brink of becoming more accepting of yourself holistically. And that's why we have circles too that came out, right? I think you're becoming more accepting of who you are as a whole. And we have the Chariot card. We have the Seven of Swords. What's going on here? Ooh, okay, I see. So we have the Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck. I'm going to pull one more just to confirm, but I do think that this is actually you being able to decline certain things in a much healthier way, like in a way that feels less confrontational, in a way that is more so like, no, I got what I needed from this situation without needing to create this whole dramatic outcome. The Wheel of Fortune. My goodness, can we get some more information here? They're like, wait your turn. Okay, we have the Five of Wands and then the Knight of Cups. Yeah, I do think I see what's next in love is that there's definitely like a lot more insight and awareness about what it means to put your entire self out there and not just the self that you think is acceptable. And that is going to put you in some situations where you really have to kind of, step into your power, where you really have to kind of embody that confidence that you naturally embody already. But it's kind of like you have to invite the other parts, the more hidden parts of yourself into that role. And so I see you kind of maybe being tempted to make decisions. Okay, I'm trying to figure out a way how to make this make sense because I see it, but it's really difficult to explain. So I think that imagine you go to the same bar every weekend and those people know you as one thing because you gave them a story, right? This is just a metaphor, but stick with it. You told them that you were that you worked for NASA. I don't know why. You told them you work for NASA. Now, in reality, you don't work for NASA. In reality, you work at a simple office. Not a bad job, pays well, but you work at an office. It's not as exciting. You went into this bar and you told people you work for NASA because you wanted to be flashing, you wanted to be shiny, you wanted to be interesting. So every week you go to this bar and they're like, oh, there's the person that works at NASA, that's so cool. And then at some point, you know, you really become attached to these people and you recognize, I really need to, I need to be honest. I need to tell them who I am. I need to embrace who I am. And so eventually you go into this bar and you're like, by the way, I don't work for NASA. I work at an office. And you go in there with the same confidence, right? You haven't changed. You have just shown a different part of yourself that you previously kept hidden, that you kept private. Now, there are going to be some people that say, oh, okay, well, I don't really care. What do I care where you work? I like you. And there are going to be some people that say, you lied to me and I can't get over that. There are going to be some people that say, oh, you don't work at NASA? You're not cool anymore. I don't want to talk to you. People are going to have their opinions. People are going to have their reactions. That is not a judgment on your worth. It is something that you then have to take into account of how to proceed forward. If somebody doesn't accept you as who you are, you cannot go into that bar and be like, fight me, right? You don't like who I am? Fight me. No, you just have to kind of accept it with that Seven of Wands, right? Seven of Swords, sorry. And with this Wheel of Fortune, again, it's like, well, then just keep going. You will find your people. And with that Five of Cups, it's like, yeah, but I lost those people that I was hoping would like me. But there are going to be other people that do like you and that do accept you for who you are as a whole. And it's better to lose out on those people that don't accept you. It's better to lose out on them when you show them who you are than to keep up a charade, than to keep up a facade that doesn't honor who you actually are. Because what you're hiding is incredible depth. There's nothing wrong with that. You are an intense person, you are a passionate person, and you also have a lot of depth. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And integrated in a healthy way, that is an incredibly beautiful power. Okay? All right, let's get you some last oracle cards. Any last considerations or advice when it comes to love for group 3? Any last considerations or advice? Night Vision and Slay peeked out. Yes, yes, yes. The moment that you start to really focus on who you are, the duality of you, and that, yeah, look at how this is like a dark version of this person. The moment that you start accepting yourself for who you are, that's when the people that also accept you for who you are able to find you. It's kind of like a ping radar. Once that turns on, you're able to call those people in because you show up more authentically, because you show up more in your power, right? You're dulling some of your power right now, just trying to be accepted. And the way it makes you feel in the end is absolutely not accepted, right? So spend some time with yourself, spend some time reflecting on the parts of yourself that you are in denial about, that you try to hide from people, that you feel uncomfortable with, that you feel insecure about, and think about how you can integrate those more, and how the things that you hide from some people are actually part of what makes you powerful. And the more that you step into your power, the more you'll be able to really call in that real authentic connection. So do not bend yourself to fit into anybody else's perception, right? Now, the energy really kind of slumped, but I do want to point out that you are incredibly, I know how we started here. You are incredibly fun. You are incredibly charming. Don't forget that. Don't forget that, okay? I'm going to leave it there. If you would like to book a personal reading, you can do so on my website. The information is linked below. I also offer astrology readings, natal chart readings. I just started offering a transit check-in. That's a live reading where you and I get on Zoom and we talk a little bit about what's going on in your life, and we take a look at how the transits are affecting your natal chart at this time to hopefully give you some context of how to manage whatever is coming up, okay? So if you are interested in that, check that out online. Other than that, I hope I get to read for you again sometime. Until then, take care.